I circle prospect, and that's how I have had a nice, big, beautiful, I don't know about too big, but a really nice pipeline. I actually just had an appointment earlier today with another homeowner, and he wants to list in July. So that'll be very exciting. I am going to go ahead and load up my Mojo dialer. If this is your first time, I'm going to call actually a group of waterfront properties. So we're going to be about anywhere from 1.3 to 2.5 million. So I don't know how many are really thinking about selling. I'm going to do the one line dialer and 5 rings. So let me set that up. I'm just so physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted today, you guys. And I was so stupid. I was like, you cannot allow these real estate transactions to become so emotional. And it's hard. I've been better, but today was just a very weak point. Let's see, not going to lie, today was a brutal day on the phones. You know what? Is like something going on today? Because I was talking to a few other of my realtor friends, and they're all having like a really hard day today. And I'm like, dude, I just want today to end. Like something is up. This is not normal. Like so much shit has hit the fan today. So frustrating. And I was like, I was in a terrible mood as I was driving to my listing appointment, which isn't really a listing appointment, at least not in like the way I look at a listing appointment is more of a meet and greet. So even on my way, I'm like driving, I'm like, I don't want to go, I don't want to do this. But I was like, no, I've been talking to the guy for over a year and he's expecting me. And he was so excited. He even confirmed this morning. So he gave me a whole walkthrough. We just sat in his living room and he told me all about his motivation and his plans and what he should do next. At a point where I'm like, I have a lot of listings and I have 2 pending and I absolutely want to get the rest sold. And I was kind of like, ugh, I don't know if I want to take another listing right now. And then when he said it'll be more like a July listing, I was like, okay, cool. Whew, I can take it on in July. So that kind of gives me a little breathing room because it's also just kind of like juggling all these listings and showings and like keeping everyone up to date and like following up on showings and like doing a showing. Only had an hour to call and only made 2 contacts. One was the wrong number and the other, the guy flipped out, LOL, asked me a million questions about where I got his number, my name, and all my info. Okay, so that person who started just like, rah, 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 just hang up. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. Just hang up. And when you're starting off new on calling, you feel like you have to start answering these questions. And Blake actually, I think he learned this through Benjamin. I'm not 100% sure, but he explained to me once, he's like, it's like the teacher and the student. And I do this on purpose. But if the teacher's the one asking the questions and the student answering, then you realize what position you're in. So when you don't answer, instead you ask them a question with a question, you're a bit more high level. But I will tell you, and you probably have seen it from my other lives, where I ask a question, they ask a question, and sometimes they don't even like listen. They're like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." I'm like, not today, click, and I just hang up. So those people just hang up. You have to preserve your energy, your mindset, your emotional state, because I kid you not, cold calling is a mental game. It's a struggle. You have to be on point. So you have to not allow those people to get to you. So just go ahead and hang up. What do you do with someone that asks where you got their info and keeps going on about it? Yeah, just hang up. If they're just going on and on and on and on and on about it, I'm like, bye. I've seen you hang up, which is great. LOL. However, my concern is they'll leave a bad review or something. Okay. Oh, great thing to bring up. Let me tell you this. Okay. So, number 1, once they hang up, the chances and likelihood of them even remembering your name is slim to none. And it's so funny because I feel like we think we are the center of attention and we think that, oh my God, like you kind of get scared. Oh my God, they're going to figure me out. They're going to like leave me a bad review. Oh my God, I'm in trouble. I'm in this, that, blah, blah, blah. Like you start freaking out, making up this whole story that isn't even true in your head. Um, so just tell them, like, I just got it from public records. because you kind of did. Like you just got it from a public source to get their information. And it's so funny. Sometimes I've pivoted where I'm like, well, it's not like on Craigslist or Facebook or something. Like, is that what you were concerned about? And I kind of pivot or switch it sometimes. I don't think you guys have heard me say that before, but I've used that line before. If you don't make it a big deal of where you got their name and number, they won't find it that big of a deal. Sometimes it's just an automatic. The person you called has a voicemail. Sometimes it's just an automatic response, like a knee jerk. So for example, when a buyer is touring a house, they'll like, oh, how's the roof? It's just a reaction. They don't really care, like as long as it's within a certain time frame, right? Or they're like, does it have a sprinkler system? How's the AC? How's the water heater? They're just automatic responses. So sometimes the same thing when people ask, like, how did you get my number? I'm so sorry. That just threw me off. Bye. Well, if I get thrown off, perfect example, just hang up, just keep moving. Just go. Like you don't have time. If you have like 100,000 people in your system, like it's okay, just hang up. You have abundant amount of people to be talking to. What was I saying? Sorry, I don't mean to harp on this too much, but I totally feel what you're referring to because I deal with it a lot. But when sometimes if they're just I guess I don't know if berating or badgering is the right word, where they're just like over and over, just hang up and they won't remember you. The likelihood of it in 5 minutes they'll even remember your first name, you'll be surprised. Like, that's why I have no shame. Like, my name's Adela. I'm a realtor. I'm calling you out of the blue. This is a cold call. Do you want to hang up? Go ahead. It's okay. Hang up, because they have the right to hang up. And sometimes certain people might just be that way with everyone. So never, ever take it personal. That's why I always say you have to preserve your energy and mindset and your vibe. So just hang up. Okay, moving on. I had Mojo before, and I also used their data. And the amount of conversations I have was like 3 or 4 an hour. So I just decided to switch to another. Call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message. I decided to switch to another dialer. I felt like I was wasting my time. Totally, I could understand that. I don't know if maybe you had the single line dialer. I have heard through the grapevine from other realtors that I'm friends with throughout the country is there are certain states where, what was I saying? So decided to switch to another dialer. Yeah, I feel like sometimes it might depend state to state, area to area, or maybe even if you do like FSBOs and expireds, you're probably going to be getting 3 to 4 an hour compared to circle prospecting. Not sure how you get so many conversations an hour. Well, I do double line. I have way better connection with the double line dialer than the triple line dialer. Has been forwarded to voicemail. I just into the next one. But circle prospecting, you're going to be calling the masses. So naturally, you're going to end up having more pickup. Was it circle prospecting you were doing through the neighborhood search with Mojo, or was it like FSBOs and expireds? Because Lord knows those you get barely 2 if you're lucky. So let me know. Hey, Nancy. Hello. Been forwarded to voicemail. Hello, Adela and everyone. I've been circling. We'll continue while I'm on. Okay, awesome. Cool. Matt said, Lorraine, what are you using for the data source now? Yeah, what dialer are you using now if you're not using Mojo? Oh, interesting. Circle prospecting triple line dialer. Was it maybe your phone number? I'm just totally guessing here. I'm just trying to like figure out what it was maybe. I know I whitelisted my number. Share. This is what I also used. So aside from whitelisting my number, I also filled out this form and gave them all my information, the phone numbers, and then how it displayed. So this is the same, the way it matches with Mojo, and then you can add your number. So I have 2, so I did 2 there. So I did that too. I'm using Endzone, get about 20 conversations an hour. That's actually a bit lower too. Because I know people who are like, "I use Enzo, I get 30 to 40." So I'm wondering why even 20 an hour is low. Lorraine, where are you located again? I'm wondering I'm so sorry, I forgot what city or state you're in. I wonder if it's like a state thing. I use Skip Matrix to get the numbers. I like them. They're pretty accurate. Oh, that's right, because Enzo doesn't give you the numbers. I did try. Oh my God, I can't even remember their name. The share group, I guess. And even though it was good, yeah, so I just stopped paying. I just went straight to Mojo. I like them. They're pretty accurate. Not only give me the owner's info, but also like 5 relatives' info, addresses, and phone numbers. Yeah, I've never heard of them. I'm gonna have to bookmark it. Thank you for sharing. Oh, Massachusetts. I think you did say that. Voicemail. I think you said that yesterday. Is not available. Sorry, Lorraine, forgive me. Because I started cold calling, I don't stay the whole hour. I'm starting little by little. In an hour, I take a few breaks, so I'm not calling the whole hour. That makes sense. That's totally fine. That sounds so good to me. Like start little by little. It is so nerve-wracking when you first start calling. I remember the anxiety and the stress and the nerves all about cold calling. Yeah. I was surprised even when I started like sitting here for an hour straight and then like sitting here for 2 hours straight. Like it was such a struggle to do it. Um, so yeah, I totally get that. I know. I know. It's so bad. I don't even think it's really the other way around. Hi, this is Ashley with Test Release. Sorry. It's not even the other way around where it's like a guy and it sounds like a female. Like it's always this, like yeah, a female with a male's voice. It's so hard to recover from that. And when I used to do cruises, I was never able to assume like who it was. The hardest part is when you get a name that you don't even know if it's a male or female. That was the worst. And then I'd be like, who would be joining you on the cruise? And let them tell me. And then they would say like, oh, my husband or oh, my wife. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's, it's so funny. Hilarious. I have to say, I'm actually happy I'm here now and I'm able to laugh because today has been such a shit show. Such a shit show. And the biggest thing that really happened was buyers and not even not even the buyers, but buyers were reaching out to people and those people were reaching out to me to handle what they needed to get done for the buyer. And so I told my husband, I said, what the hell is happening? It's like they're passing off the paper and sliding it over like, here, Adela, can you help with this? And so I was like, dude, I'm like so busy. How about you actually do your job? And so I actually had to put people in their place today. And the buyers were like, hey, you guys, Adela's already doing enough, thankfully. And they were like thanking me. They were like calling me separately, like, Adela, you're doing great. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. No, I totally understand. Like, oh, you've reached Linda. I totally understand you're doing it all. It's not fair. And that's not what I expected them to do. So I'm going to call them and make sure that they do their job. I was like, thank you. But oh my God, it was just like so much. I'm hesitant to change platforms. Mojo kind of serves as a CRM and I haven't found a cheaper or better platform. Oh, you mean compared to Enzo? I'm assuming. Yeah, I know Mojo's like, it's inexpensive, it's simple, it's clean in my eyes. I've just gotten used to it. It's very effective and I get the data for dirt cheap. So I'm right there with you. Like, I don't, yeah, because oh God, even if I had Enzo, then I'd have to be like transferring people, and I think that's where it gets messy. And yeah, I could get connected through the API Nation, but even that is not 100% accurate. And I just think for like getting the information, having your dialer, having to be your CRM, and I'm paying max 174 a month seems so reasonable. And I think I just really have like a pattern, if you know what I mean. I would agree. You haven't found a cheaper, better
Has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to
better
reach is not.
platform, because I think I don't even know what Redx is. Let me take a look. How much is Redx? Redx. Oh no! The inspection took forever. Then we hit rush hour traffic. I'm never carpooling again. That sucks. I'm so sorry. Feel your pain. Let that be a reminder to circle prospect and circle prospect in your backyard, like your neighborhood. Then you never have to worry about traffic. You don't have to worry about driving far. You could, and you know everything about the neighborhood. Are you using a phone number for Mojo? Yes, I am. So as far as like what you use, yeah, it's Mojo. I just do it through Mojo. So I get the phone number through Mojo, whitelisted through Mojo, and then do that free call registry and put in all of Mojo's information. And I've had the 2 phone numbers since Q4 of 2023. Redx seems to be the same price, maybe had a few additional features, but not sure it's worth switching. Yeah, I have no idea. I know some other agents have used it and they did not like it.
The person you're trying to reach is
And
not.
I don't think it has the double or triple line either. Let me see. I'm on their website. It's crazy. I've never been on their website until now. And I don't know how to get out of this pop-up. No, I'm doing it all by myself. What the hell?
Then forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
Do they have a triple line dialer? Power dialer? Oh yeah, they do have a triple line dialer. Oh, I did not know that. For $150. Well, that doesn't really include the I don't know if it includes the line or not.
It's been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone.
My head is gonna explode. Hey, why do you have 2 numbers? Do you switch back and forth? Good question. So I was actually very fearful at the time when I got them. Believe it or not, I used to have 3. But I had come from the mentality of using burner numbers where you're supposed to like switch them out all the time. And so I stopped doing that and I just assumed that would be the same with Mojo where I would like use it and then burn them. And so I had 3 and I would switch them.
The voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
And then I realized after months of not having any issues, I was like, wait, why do I have 3 phone numbers? So I then canceled one because then I thought, okay, if I have 2 and they're both reputable, if God forbid one day one of them becomes, sorry, I didn't mean to flip you off. So I thought to myself, okay, if I have the 2 and then I get marked spam here, I'll at least have this one to keep it up and running. So then I'll have to like delete this one and then like buy another. And then I can like switch between the 2 because if this one gets marked spam, whatever. So that's the only reason I still have the 2. I don't switch back and forth as much as I used to. I don't even really pay attention to it so much. Sometimes it's just like off the whim, like, oh, let's try that phone number. And then I'll just like use it for a day or 2 or a day or like the week. And then the next week I'm like, oh, I haven't used this number. Let me just so they are still both active. I just toggle between the 2, but it's not so strategic anymore as I used to have to do it with burner numbers. So I just hold on to them. But the good news is I really don't need any more than that. So I hope that answers that question because it's just like the old way in my head of like, oh my God, I have to switch out my phone numbers. I liked Mojo, but I felt like wasting my time standing an hour in front of the computer and barely having conversations. I totally can relate to that. That's exactly how I felt. Not so much Circle, obviously, but I would say for FSBOs and expireds, what I did start noticing is if you ever take a list and let's just say there's 100 people, because I'm not going to complicate it. There's 100 people, you call through it, you get, let's say, 7 contacts an hour, and then you go through it again and again and again and again. You will easily be sitting at 2 an hour. But with a neighborhood search, at least for myself, when I did it, it was 24,000 people. So I have like endless amount of people to call. So I just really call through them once, which helps me at least um, get more contacts. It does depend. I think it was like,
Been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to
I
reach.
think it was like Saturday when I did the double line dialer, and it was like a later in the day, and I got 20 contacts in an hour, which is almost like never, or it was like super high. Okay, don't like when that happens. So yeah, that's why I was thinking, like, if you're on end zone, you're only at 20 instead of 30, 40. I don't know if it's like a state thing, but I could totally understand. Like, that sucks. 2 an hour, that's brutal. That's like, it's so boring. What do you like? What do you do? You're just staring at a screen like, someone, please answer the phone. Anyone. It was probably the phone number. I wasn't using one from Mojo, although it was whitelisted. Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, and you know what? I probably could have done that myself, but I just didn't even know how. And it's so funny because now that I think about it, looking back, like, I had the burner numbers, but I was also using Vulcan. And then when I made the switch to Mojo, I like remember going on there and like buying, like, what do I need to buy? And then it said a phone number, and I was like, oh, they provide a phone number. Interesting. I didn't know that. And so then I just bought it. Otherwise I probably would have used my burner number. Now I feel tempted to go back to Mojo, huh? Well, I mean, I'm not telling you to do it. Yeah, if you want to, you could try it. I mean, like, maybe try the Mojo number. Maybe try it for a month. But obviously you're doing Enzo, so maybe give that a shot also. I mean, I don't know. It's just basically the only thing that has worked for me. So that's why I stick to it, right? Like, no shiny object syndrome, just like do what works for you.
Is not available.
My Plus leads, it's supposed to have the best data, but they only directly work with a single line dialer. You can import their data to Mojo, but I've heard neighborhood search is better if you stay on. That's good advice. I've never done my Plus leads. If you stay on their platform, that makes sense. I actually didn't even know my Plus leads had a platform. I thought they were just a lead place. Well, I have to say I'm very proud of myself for actually showing up today, because after today's whirlwind, I was like, I don't want to call. I just want to mope and feel sorry for myself. But then it was a realization that the reason I'm feeling like this is because of others people's actions, and it's all transaction related. And in the end, it really has nothing to do with me. So I should not be feeling this way. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to put this aside. Like, I'm not going to allow that to affect my day, my productivity, my prospecting time, and my streak of just like calling. So here I am. It's so funny. Sometimes when you call a particular neighborhood, you almost start to feel a particular personality, whether they're like shouting, whether they're aggressive, whether they're calm and chill, whether they're nice, whether it's like a bunch of families or retirees. So sometimes even in that mindset, you have to pivot as far as like what you're going to say, like what's your opening line. So a lot of you guys have to really pay attention to how someone answers. But I did have an appointment today, and it was so funny because I was actually thinking about you guys, like when I was at the meeting. I was like, if they could just see me, because I don't do any professional listings or any professional like listing appointments. And this gentleman I've been talking to for a year, and he mentioned that he's totally moving, fixing up the house, getting it ready, wanted me to come by and see it. So I went today. He showed me the property. And we just talked. We just had a casual conversation. I didn't bring any paperwork. And we just sat in this living room and just kind of talked about timeline, his motivation, when he thinks he'll like what he's planning on doing as far as like the house goes. And then also just kind of talking about like, okay, when you're done, because when you go to these appointments, you really just want to ask good questions. So it was just more of, okay, so when you are done with everything and you've packed up the house and your wife has already moved out, are you going to then join her or are you going to stay here until the house is sold? And he was like, oh, good question. He goes, I guess I haven't really thought about that. And he goes, you know what? You're probably right. I should just like leave, which would make my job easier because then I don't have to worry about bothering a homeowner. And I could probably just like put that on the lockbox. I say probably, but it was just kind of that conversation. He like walked me out and he was like, we're just chatting in the front yard and he was telling me all about the neighbors and I've been here so long. I'm the second owner, this, that, whatever. So it was just really nice. And then we just kind of like shook hands, like, oh, so nice to meet you. And he's like, yeah, let's keep talking. Let's stay in touch. So he is thinking about listing it in July because his wife is already moved out. They already have another house elsewhere. So we shall see. That will be coming up in July. And that's, I guess, what happens when you circle prospect and you have all these leads. They all have like their own timeline and you just build them out. So then you're like, okay, they want to list in May, they want to list in June, they want to list in July. And it's so interesting because he reached out to me, and that is basically what happens when you circle prospect and you have all these leads and you're following up with people. They just like text you or call you, like, hey, can you come over? Hey, I'd like to meet. Hey, I want your opinion on some. So much confusion. I don't know about you guys, but there's so much confusion about like how many contacts you should have. I used to hear you should have 40 to 50. And then once I started asking more questions and hearing more about this whole 40-50, believe it or not, that included wrong numbers. And I'm like, oh, well, 40-50 conversations isn't really 40-50 conversations. That's just more pickups. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then I started hearing, well, you want to do 20 to 30. I'm like, okay, well, when you say 20 to 30, are you talking about new? Or are you also including follow up? Because otherwise, if you do 20 to 30 new, when the hell are you doing follow-up? Because I know that's time consuming because I do it earlier in the day as it is. And then they were like, oh, no, that doesn't include follow-up. So then they're like, no. You want to do 20 new and then 10 follow-up, which you can get to 30. I'm like, okay, I understand 20 new. I can establish that 10 an hour. If not, I'm going to have to call for more than 2 hours to get to 20 an hour. So back to my 20-30. So people may disagree with me, but this is how I do it, you guys. I'm like, and maybe I've said this once before. I'm like, I can try to reach for the 20 new, but as far as like 10 follow-up, but as far as like the 10 follow-ups, I don't really call all my follow-ups. And even when I've tried calling follow-ups, they don't always answer anyway. So that's why I started adapting to like emailing, texting, maybe even video texting, sending them a handwritten note card, um, emailing them if I have their email. And so my husband and I decided, I think it was towards the end of last year, I would do 20 new and then 10 follow up reach outs or reach outs. So as long as I can either text someone, email someone, send a handwritten note card, like if it's 10 in that day, then that would equate to my 30. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's funny because then when I look at all my follow-ups, I don't really have enough for 10 a day because it's not like I have 1,000 leads in my pipeline, but I definitely have 100.
Call has been forwarded to voicemail.
So sometimes even my follow-up, I might just have to do like 5 outreaches, or sometimes if I'm too busy, I do like 2 in a day. I'm like, cool, I followed up. Mirror matching. Yes, you have to mirror match. How's it going? Are you finding it a little bit better, Nancy? Like if they're soft, be soft. If they're loud, be loud. If they say hey, say hey. If they say hi, say hi. If they say good morning, you say good morning. That is like make it or break it moment where It depends if you're going to have a conversation or not. And I would say, so Vin Jiang, the Australian communications guy I watch on YouTube, he's really good where he realized it was like matching energy. And he always says, like, you want to match.
Forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is.
He said, you want to match it first, but then you want to bring them to your level. So even if I start off a certain way, I want to like pull them into where I am for the conversation. So, and that also has to do with just like a lot of tonality. No leads, but that's okay. Not every day you'll have a lead, and you have to get used to that. Although I could have had a lead. I mean, it was like kind of the first call, but I feel like I didn't handle that, and I did not handle that call as best as I could have, but that's okay. I will just follow up with him. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.